Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cracking open a really fascinating article from the Urban Herald. It takes us inside a topic that's relevant to, well, pretty much anyone who loves to travel. Navigating some of the world's most loved tourist cities safely, specifically looking at the evolving challenge of pickpocketing in 2025.
That's right. The Urban Herald piece, it really zeroes in on places where they've seen, notable upticks and changes in tactics this year.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Our mission with this deep dive, it isn't to instill fear or make you cancel your travel plans. Not at all.
No, quite the opposite, actually.
Exactly. We want to extract the absolute crucial insights from this source. Understanding why certain places are flagged, what the latest methods pickpockets are using are, and most importantly, equipping you with the knowledge to outsmart them. It's about being informed so you can actually, relax and enjoy your trip.
Mm-hmm. Knowledge empowers safer travel. That's the key.
So, the Urban Herald article starts off giving us some pretty important context about how these hotspot lists are even compiled. It clarifies there's no single, definitive global ranking of most pickpocketed cities.
And that's really key, isn't it? These lists, including the one we're digging into here, they're usually a blend of different data points. Things like reported insurance claims, official police statistics where you can get them, and a growing amount of info from tourist reviews, online forums, that sort of thing.
Which means the data isn't perfect, right? I mean, reporting methods differ massively city to city.
Huge differences.
And probably a massive number of incidents just go unreported entirely. Plus, who reports online can be skewed.
Precisely. So the value isn't really in declaring one city worse than another in some absolute way. It's more about identifying areas where the conditions for pickpocketing seem, well, particularly ripe right now, based on the data we do have. It's a signal,
Right.
for heightened awareness, not panic.
Got it. Understood. And according to the Urban Herald, Europe is where they've noted some particular increases in activity for 2025.
That's certainly what the data presented suggests, yeah. Europe's timeless attractions, they just draw huge crowds. And unfortunately, where you have big crowds.
You have opportunity.
Exactly, opportunity.
Okay, let's look at some specific examples from the article. Almost like case studies. Rome, Italy highlighted as a major hotspot.
Well, it makes sense when you think about it. Rome is basically one giant open-air museum, right? So that's like the Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain, the Pantheon. They are constantly just teeming with people. Everyone's looking up, taking photos, completely absorbed. That level of distraction is, well, it's an open invitation.
And the Urban Herald gives specific numbers for 2025, a 12% increase in reported incidents compared to last year.
Yeah.
They specifically call out Termini Station as a significant hotspot within the city.
Yeah, and the detail in the article on where and how is really useful. Beyond Termini, they list metro lines. The ones stopping at major attractions. They even name stations. Termini, Vittorio Emanuele, Barberini, Spagna Flaminio. Basically, anywhere people are crowded or focused elsewhere, think Piazza Venezia, Campo dei Fiori, especially during those classic selfie moments.
Right. You're totally focused on getting the shot, phone out, maybe your bag is a bit neglected.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy target. The article also mentions the specific tactics used in Rome.
Yes, the source notes the prevalence of coordinated groups, sometimes involving women and children, using crowding or creating diversions. They even mention that sad tactic sometimes called the pregnant woman trick, using perceived vulnerability to get close or avoid suspicion.
Okay, let's move northwest a bit to Paris, France. Millions visit every year. Iconic sites.
Absolutely. Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Notre Dame area, again, enormous crowds. The Urban Herald reports an 8% rise in cases there this year.
And similar to Rome, the article points to the Eiffel Tower vicinity and those metro lines as key areas. What is it about the metro that makes it so appealing for pickpockets, based on the source?
Well, think about it. Confined spaces, right? Sudden stops, sudden surges of people. Everyone's focused on finding their stop or just getting on and off quickly. The article really highlights this, especially targeting people near the doors during that boarding or alighting chaos.
Makes sense.
Major attractions are obvious targets, but it's the specific techniques, the source lists that are interesting, like someone accidentally bumping into you while an accomplice dips into your pocket, or that classic helping you clean up a spilled drink that they probably orchestrated in the first place.
Wow. Okay, Barcelona, Spain, another city mentioned, and Las Ramblas is kind of infamous, isn't it?
The article confirms Las Ramblas, definitely, but it also adds beaches, the metro, and sites like Sagrada Familia. And Barcelona apparently saw a notable 15% increase during peak seasons this year. And the Urban Herald notes they're seeing new distraction tactics emerging there, too.
Whoa. A 15% jump? That's significant.
Yeah.
What kind of new tactics is the source talking about in Barcelona? Any specifics?
Yeah, this is where the article gets really specific about local scams. It mentions the persistent flower ladies, They try to force a flower on you, then aggressively demand payment, creating a scene. There's the pigeon poop trick. Someone accidentally spills something white on you, maybe yogurt or something.
Oh, lovely.
Right. Then a supposedly helpful stranger appears to help you clean it up, while their accomplice is actually stealing from you. Clipboard scams too, people asking for signatures for fake petitions just to get you distracted. And even people posing as fake police officers demanding to see your wallet.
Fake police. That's pretty bold.
These are designed to disorient you, create urgency, make you react without thinking.
Sounds quite elaborate. Definitely a step beyond just simple stealth. What about Berlin, Germany? The article characterizes the situation there as stable but persistent.
Correct. So maybe not the dramatic increases seen elsewhere, but Berlin definitely remains on the list. There's a persistent risk. The Urban Herald notes a 5% increase specifically within public transport hubs there this year.
So like the other cities then, public transport is a key area. U-Bahn, S-Bahn, trams, buses, and major attractions, shopping centers too. The article mentions some classic methods being used in Berlin.
Yeah, the classics persist, right. Tactics like physically blocking you in a doorway or maybe on an escalator that suddenly stops, or someone pretending they need help with directions while their partner goes for your pocket, or just using the natural jostling of a crowd to get close without you noticing. It really highlights that while new scams emerge, the fundamental techniques don't really go away.
And finally, Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. Very compact city, super walkable, but also extremely popular.
And extremely crowded because of that. The compact city center, lively areas like the red light district, world-class museums, Vondel Park, they attract massive numbers. The Urban Herald reports a 10% increase this year, and interestingly, they link it specifically to nightlife areas and festivals.
That link to festivals and events is interesting, yeah. I feel like pickpockets are maybe targeting moments when people are specifically relaxed or, less aware. Common areas listed include the red light district near the Anne Frank House, Vondel Park, the Rijksmuseum, Van Gogh Museum, and, you guessed it.
Crowded trams and the metro.
Yep, crowded trams and metro.
That just shows the opportunistic nature, doesn't it? Finding where large groups gather, especially when they might be celebrating or just less focused on their surroundings.
The article also gives a few honorable mentions.
Sure.
Cities where vigilance is still needed, maybe not seeing the same big spikes this year, but consistently presenting risks. Athens, Greece, its metro is apparently notorious, especially during rush hour. Prague, Czech Republic calling out Charles Bridge, Old Town Square, Prague Castle as prime spots. And Madrid, Spain, where busy plazas and metro lines are common targets.
So if we sort of connect this back to the bigger picture, what we're seeing isn't static, is it? The Urban Herald really highlights that the pickpocketing landscape is, well, it's evolving. What's new this year in 2025, according to their analysis?
Yeah, this is where the source really digs into the trends. As we touched on with Barcelona, there's an increase in new and, frankly, more elaborate distraction tactics. It's not just a simple bump anymore. It might be coordinated groups, staging arguments, or faking emergencies, or even using street performances to get your attention completely diverted.
That's significant. It means travelers need an even higher level of situational awareness. You almost have to be wary of sudden dramatic events happening nearby.
Absolutely. And then there's the tech angle. The article notes a rise in what they call digital pickpocketing. This includes using RFID scanners to potentially grab credit card data, from contactless cards, even while they're still in your pocket or bag.
This raises a really important point. It's not just about your physical wallet anymore, is it? And they're specifically targeting mobile phones, not just to steal the device itself, but because our phones are increasingly used for digital wallets and hold so much sensitive financial info.
Right, so protecting your phone, understanding its vulnerabilities, that's becoming just as important as protecting cash.
Definitely.
The Urban Herald also points to some emerging hotspots. While Europe's major capitals are kind of mainstays on these lists, cities in Eastern Europe like Budapest and Bucharest are apparently seeing upticks, particularly around train stations and newer tourist areas.
That could well correlate with increased tourism in those regions, right?
Yes.
Creating new opportunities for criminals who then adapt tactics maybe learned in the established hotspots.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, targeting large-scale events like music festivals or big sporting matches, that seems to be a growing trend, leveraging the sheer density and often relaxed state of the crowd.
So Looking at all these examples and trends from the Urban Herald, what do these cities and situations have in common? What's the anatomy of a pickpocket hotspot they identify?
The article breaks it down pretty nicely, actually. First and foremost, crowded attractions. Simple as that. Anywhere people are focused on sights, taking photos, navigating dense crowds, distracted visitors are just easy marks.
Makes sense. Second.
Efficient public transport. It provides easy access to those crowded areas and, crucially, quick escape routes after a theft.
Okay.
Third, tourist naivety. I mean, visitors are often unfamiliar with local customs, the layout of the city, and especially the common scams or subtle tactics used in that specific place. They tend to be more open, maybe more trusting, and just less vigilant than they might be back home.
And finally.
Distraction opportunities. Whether it's official street performers or beggars or seemingly helpful locals, anything that diverts your attention away from your belongings, even for a second, can be part of a setup.
Right, so those four factors kind of create the perfect storm.
Exactly. And cities where these elements converge are consistently highlighted as high-risk areas in sources like the Urban Herald.
Okay, so we know where and how it's happening based on the article.
Yeah.
But the most valuable part, I think, the actionable toolkit the Urban Herald provides, is how to prevent it. They offer practical, timeless advice.
And it's categorized, which is helpful. Starting before you even leave home, absolutely get travel insurance that specifically covers theft. It won't prevent it, obviously, but it's crucial if something does happen.
Definitely. And make copies of your essential documents, passport, visa, IDs. Keep digital copies maybe in secure cloud storage, and physical copies stored separately from the originals, back at your hotel or in a different bag.
And maybe take just a few minutes to research common scams specific to the cities you're visiting. Knowing the pigeon poop trick exists makes you much less likely to fall for it if someone tries it on you, right?
Good point. Next category, protecting your valuables when you're out and about. The article recommends investing in anti-theft bags. Look for features like lockable zippers, slash-proof material, or straps. And increasingly important, those RFID blocking pockets for your cards.
And use a money belt or maybe secure inner pockets for your absolute most important items. Passport, main credit card, larger sums of cash you might need that day. The key is keeping these items directly on your person, ideally under your clothes, where they just can't be easily accessed.
And definitely don't carry all your cash, all your cards, and your passport around with you everywhere. Split them up.
Yeah.
Leave unnecessary valuables, the bulk of your cash, in the hotel safe.
It sounds like simple logic, but it's so easy to forget when you're excited and sightseeing. Which brings us to situational awareness, arguably the most important tool you have.
Stay alert. Especially in those crowded areas we talked about, markets, public transport, tourist attractions. The article really emphasizes recognizing those distraction techniques. The sudden commotion, someone dropping something, someone thrusting something into your face, the overly friendly stranger who appears out of nowhere. Be wary of anyone who seems too keen to help you or gets unusually close without a clear reason. Trust your gut feeling on that one. The Urban Herald article also gives specific tips for different scenarios. On public transport, always keep your bag zipped and in front of you, not on your back, not dangling off your side.
Good advice.
If possible, avoid standing right by the doors where the crush happens. Be braced for sudden stops or surges of people. Sometimes they're manufactured distractions.
And in restaurants or cafes, never hang your bag on the back of your chair. It's just out of sight, too easy. Keep it on your lap or between your feet, maybe loop the strap around your leg. And it sounds so obvious, but don't leave your phone or wallet just sitting on the table, not even for a second.
ATMs, too. Use machines inside banks during their operating hours whenever you can. Always cover your hand when you're entering your PI. And if someone tries to distract you while you're at the machine, just cancel the transaction, walk away, find another one. Don't engage.
Cues as well. Whether it's for a museum or waiting for a bus, just be aware of who's standing very close behind you. Again, bag zipped and in front.
So,
Yeah.
what if, despite all these precautions, the worst happens? The article gives clear steps. First, report the theft to the local police immediately.
Right. That police report is almost always necessary for any travel insurance claim. Don't delay that. And cancel your credit and debit cards straight away. Often you can do this really quickly via banking apps or just a quick phone call. Thieves work incredibly fast.
And if your passport is stolen, contact your country's embassy or consulate immediately. They're there to help with emergency travel documents.
So taking a step back after all this detail from the Urban Herald, what's the main takeaway here? What's the big picture?
I think the most crucial point, and the article reinforces this, is that while the risks we've talked about are real, They absolutely do not define the travel experience for the vast, vast majority of people. Millions travel safely to these exact cities every single year and have incredible, life-changing times.
Absolutely. Pickpocketing is a risk, and as the 2025 data suggests, it's a dynamic one. It changes. But being aware of where and how it tends to happen, and then just coupling that with implementing these simple prevention strategies, it dramatically reduces your vulnerability. It really does.
It really is about empowering you, the listener. This knowledge allows you to be vigilant in the right places and the right situations without needing to be paranoid your entire trip. You can focus on the beauty, the culture, the food, all the reasons you traveled there in the first place.
Exactly. You can absolutely enjoy the world's greatest cities. Just, travel smart, not scared.
So here's maybe a final thought for you to consider, building on what the Urban Herald has shown us today. Given this rise of tech-savvy thieves and the increasing integration of our digital and physical lives, how will the strategies for protecting ourselves evolve even further in the coming years? Will the focus shift entirely from guarding our physical pockets to securing our digital devices, our data? Or will pickpockets always find new ways to exploit the oldest vulnerability there is simple human distraction? Something to think about.